Alright, welcome back to LogicCollege.com. This is lesson 3. We're going to go through this lesson real quick. This one is probably going to be one of the easiest and yet one of the most challenging lessons you've all done so far. But this one is all functions that are already available for you in PHP that we're going to go over today. The first one is called strtoupper. It says it makes a string an uppercase string, and we're going to see how that works. So let's dive right in. So first of all the functions that we're working with today are strings, and strings are anything that's really not a number. So basically anything that's a word for everybody else. So let's start with a word. So I want to start with a username because we're going to be using this today for your test. And yes, there will be a test after this. So we're going to start with a variable called first name, and I'm going to call the first name Luke. So that's a person with the first name Luke. And this, of course, is a string because the word Luke is a string that's going to be saved in the variable first name. Then we're going to have a last name variable called Skywalker, of course. I know you know that was coming. Okay, so Luke Skywalker is the person's name. It's saved in a variable called first name and last name. So if I wanted to say print or echo out or show this first name and last name on the screen, I'll say you'll say echo first of all, and you'll say my name is. That's the text that will be on the screen, and then you will print the variables, and this would be first name like that, and then let's put a space between the first name and the last name, and then we'll do the variable last names. So we're printing out at this point, we're printing out the variable my name is, and then the variable whatever the first name is with a space followed by the variable last name. So let us run that and see what that looks like. And that's what it looks like. My name is Luke Skywalker. And the programmer in me says that's a sentence and it should have a period at the end. And so I'm going to go back into my code space. I'm going to come down here and I'm going to put a period, which is like that. So again, the quotation marks is strings, the dot, and the dot separates my variables. I have a string here which is just a space, and I have a last name variable followed by a period. And let me just run that again real quick. See, my name is Luke Skywalker, and it is has a period at the end. So we're going to start using our first PHP function, and this function is called strtoupper. And what this one does, it makes a string uppercase. And this is how a function looks and operates. So the first part over here is the return value. It means like when you run a function, you get something in return. So let's say I had a function that's called change. And what the change function does is you give me a dollar bill and I'll give you change. So my return function to you is in the form of change, not in the form of dollars. So what this is telling you is that the return value that you're going to get from this function is going to be a string. And this right here, the second part tells you the name of the function. So whenever you want to run the function, this is the name you're going to use. It's called strtoupper. It's a funny name, but basically it's called strtoupper. And the last part over here tells you the input. So you're going to input a value called string, which is of type string. Basically that's what that is. So let's just see how all of that runs. So we're going to go back down here to our function, to our example page, and right here we're going to let's just put some some spaces in. BR. This is a line break for anyone who doesn't know this yet. You should see this in some of my other videos. This is how we put spaces between the code. So here we're going to do the same thing we did before, which is my name is followed by a space followed by the function. So what we're going to do first is we're going to run the function that says string to upper. So it's string to upper. You don't have to write anything, you don't have to do anything. PHP already done everything for you. You're going to put the variable name in, which is first name. You could even put back the space and put the last name in there, last name variable. And why not, let's just put back the period as well. I don't know how you would uppercase a period, but let's just put that in there as well, and we will run that. So basically this function uppercase string to upper will make everything in here uppercase, and that's what we want. So let's run that and see what happens. Look at that. Isn't that like magic? So PHP did that for you. So PHP said my name is Luke Skywalker, but in this function we did string to uppercase. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace this part of it so you could know which function you're actually running. So on here I'm going to put the name of the function that we're actually running. So just for study purposes, you'll be able to see that you're running that function. So let me run it again and show you what I mean. See, string to upper function says my name is Luke Skywalker, and it's all uppercase. So that's our first function. Congratulations, everybody. Hey, we did it. So we're going to move on to some more difficult function. But any questions so far?
No questions.
No questions from the audience. All right. So the next function we're going to do is called string to lower. And this is exactly the opposite of the other one. This one it returns a string, and it takes a string, and it makes everything lowercase. So we're going to do that one right now. So basically I'm going to copy everything here. Hopefully it makes me do this without too much of a problem. I'm going to paste it back in here. Hopefully it does it without giving me too much of a problem. Nope, it's not working with me today. So let's just put the breaks back in. BR, put the line breaks back in. That's nice. And actually next time I'll just use the paragraph function. That probably gives me a little better. All right. And this time we're going to do the function string to upper. No, we did string to upper already, didn't we? So we're going to do string to lower, right? And we're going to say my name is with a space. And this time we're going to use the function string to lower. This is the actual function. We're going to take the first name variable, we're going to do space. Notice that the first name is spelled with a lowercase f and a capital N. That's important because you can't change the variable names. So, and then last name, and then this time, just for exercise purposes, I am going to put the period on the outside. So all of this will be uppercased. And when that's done, we'll add a period at the end. So this says my name is, and it should be string to lower. So we're expecting every letter in the name to be lowercase. So let's run this. And we get my name is Luke Skywalker. So the user puts in the same name with a capital L and a capital S, and we are manipulating the user input by making it uppercase or lowercase. There are some other ones we could use, like let's say the next one in the sequence we're going to learn today is called string length. And if you notice, this one does not return a string. It says it returns an integer. And what does that mean? So you're going to put in a string because the input of the function is still a string, but this time it returns an integer, because what it's actually going to do is going to give you the length of the string. So basically it's going to count how many characters make up that string and return that number. So let's try that. And this one is called, the function is called string length. So let's go down and run the function string length. So we're going to echo out, first we're going to echo out some line breaks. You could actually do that all in one line like this. So that's just your 2 line breaks. Then you're going to put the name of the function as we've been doing before. It's called string length. Okay, and I'm going to say the length, L-E-N-G-T-H, the length. Is that how you spell length? Length of this string is, and now I'm going to actually run the function string length. String length, and we're going to take first name. Okay, so we could probably just do it with the first name this time. Okay, is 30, and just to make it, it's 40 characters. All right, period. So basically it's going to say the length of this string is, this is going to return a number, and then we're going to have the word characters after it. Okay, if all goes well. Let's put back in our semicolons at the end of our statements here, and we could now run this function. Look, the length of this string is 4 characters. And remember, well, maybe we should actually put the name in there so we know what we're talking about. So the length of, and then let's put the actual first name here. Okay, so it's going to say the length of Luke is 4 characters. So let's run that. Let's run that. Run. Oop, I think I did something wrong there. Did anybody catch that? Did you catch it? I'm missing the dollar sign.
I believe that's what it was.
No. The length of first name. See, I reversed this. You have to put the period first, and then you put this on the other side, like that. Length of first name is string. So let us run that again. And there we go. The length of Luke is 4 characters. So you see what it did? It took the Luke, it counted it, and instead of returning the word, it, like the other ones did before, it returned only the number of characters that was in the length. So this is how you starting to see the power of manipulating strings, and these are functions that's already built into PHP that you didn't have to write on your own. PHP gives you these functions. So we're getting to some nice complicated ones now. So this one is called string replace, which is the next one, and this one actually also returns a string. It says mixed, but it returns a string mostly. So what it says, it returns the mixed search, which is what the item you're searching. Then the items you want to, what are you searching for? This is the mixed value, is what are you going to replace it with, and this part of it takes the actual text. So it actually takes 3 inputs, this function. So let's do string replace and see what it does. It's a neat little function. I use it a lot too. So here we go, string replace. Okay, so let's check this out. So we're going to do the echo. We're going to put our line breaks back, right? And this one is called string replace. All right. And what do we want to replace? So we know the first name is Luke Skywalker. So what if we change all the L's? Okay, everything, there's 3 K's in Luke Skywalker. So let's change all the K's to, let's just take out all the K's. How about that? Can we do that? Let's just, actually, no, first let's replace K's. So I'm gonna write that. I'm gonna write as the replacing case. So we're gonna do replacing case with y's. I don't know. Let's do that. So we're gonna run the function now. So string replace. All right, and let's go back to the function and see what it requires. I know it takes for, so at first it looks for the item you're searching for. So we're going to search for all k's. The item that you're going to replace it with, we're going to replace it with y's, and the subject. Okay, so here we go. Let's do it down here. So first, the item that you're searching for is going to be k's, right? The items you're going to replace it with is y's, and the subject is first name, name, and last name. Yep. So let's run that and see what we come up with. If we did it right, we should see something else. See? This is Luke Skywalker, but all the K's, replacing K's with Y's. So L-U-K, this should have been a K, and it's now a Y. And Skywalker is S-K-Y, it's now a Y. And W-A-L-K, this K is also a Y. So that's a nice powerful function in PHP where you could manipulate a string to substitute letters with other letters. You just have to remember the formula takes the string you're searching for, what you're going to replace it with, and the string that you're actually, the string that you're actually targeting. So that's a pretty strong, powerful function there, string replace. So we only have two more to go. We have uppercase words, which is another one I like because this changes all the words in a string to uppercase. But because Luke Skywalker is already uppercase, what I want to do is go to a value that is lowercase already. So do you remember this one? It says string to lower. So string to lower. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Let me go back to the running page. So this took this name and made it string to lower. See, and it lowercased it. But the function we're going to run now is called uppercase words, and what that does, it makes all the words in a particular sentence uppercase. So I'm going to run it on this entire string just to prove my point. So because if I did it just on the first and last name, it would look exactly the same. You won't see anything because the first letter is already uppercase in the original string. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to string to lower. Let's scroll down here. And I'm going to run this function called uppercase. Let me separate the text from the function. It's called uppercase words. And I'm going to run it on all of the stuff here, everything here to the end, and close the bracket there. So that entire string, so that now this entire string is inside this function, even though this is also already a function that's making it lowercase. So this entire string is being manipulated by this function. It's a little complicated, but let me run it and show you what's happening. It's happening. So run it. All right. You see this one that was string to lower? We just saw this, right? It made the first and last name lower. But we put this whole sentence inside the uppercase words function. And now you see, even the word name is now uppercase. The word is now uppercase letter. Luke, instead of being lowercase, is back to being uppercase L, uppercase S. Does that make sense? Okay. So that's what that does. It makes uppercase words, makes all, I'm going to put the function name in here. Now uppercase words. So it makes all the words in a particular sentence uppercase. So string to lower was the original, where we lowered the first and last name, and now we made it uppercase words, which made every letter in every word capitalized. Okay. And now for our final function in PHP, this one's called substring. Substring is also a very nice function because it allows you to take a section of any string. Okay, and you're going to see how you could use these functions in just a second. So it returns a string. That's the return value. It's the name of the function is called substring, and these are the things that it takes. It takes a string, like the string that you're actually working on. It takes that, and then you have to tell it where do you want to start in the string, and how long do you want the string to be. Okay, so let's try that, because it's better if you see it. So we're going to come down here and we're going to try our substring function. So we're going to echo out our line breaks like we did before, and we're going to state the name of our function, which is called substring. All right, and we are going to run the substring. So what's a substring of Skywalker? Skywalker has a substring of sky, let's say. Okay, so sky is the first three letters. So we're going to run, let's do this. Let's take a substring. Let's just write it out what we're doing. Substring of Skywalker. All right. So now we run the actual function. We run the actual function. You put the string in that you want to use. We're going to work on the last name, right? We're going to work on the last name. Then we're going to start at 0. No. What's the matter, honey? My daughter having problems with her iPad. Okay, so we're going to start at 0, and we're going to take only the first 3 letters, and we're going to do that. So this is the string that you're working on, where you want to start. 0 is the first letter, and how long do you want it to be? You want it to be 3 letters long. And how do I know that? Because the function told me that that's what it takes. It takes the starting position and the length of it. Okay, so let's put our semicolon back and let's run this function and see what it comes out to, if it's acting like we want it to act. Look, substring of Skywalker, sky. See that? Mm-hmm. Because it started at the 0 position, which is the first letter, and it went, and the length of it was 3 letters. So what if we wanted to get Walker, the Walker part? How would we do that? We would start at, so this is the 0, S is 0, K is 1, Y would be 2, W would be 3. And then in order to get the rest of it, we would say how long we want it to be, and it would have to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 letters. Okay, so let's try that. So we're going to do substring of Skywalker, but this time we're going to start at the 3 position, and we're going to go 6 characters long. Okay, change that, go up here and run it. See, substring of Skywalker equal Walker. Yay! So now that you've mastered all of these powerful string functions, I have a few assignment questions that I want you guys to tackle. Okay? And let's see if you guys could do this. So let's start. I'm going to put the assignments up here. So the first thing I want you guys to be able to, and these are things I just want you to write echo statements for and echo out these things. So for example, I want you guys be able to do this. I want you to be able to do that. You can look at all your functions. You can look at what is being inputted for the first name and last name, and I want you to be able to execute it like that, to print to the screen like that. Then I want you to be able to do this one. So you have to be able to do that no matter what name I give you and no matter how I put the names in. So for example, we started out pretty simple with a name like Luke Skywalker, but what if I gave you Luke Skywalker like that? And I wanted them all to be lowercase. You have to make sure that they're lowercase. So you have to use your functions in different combinations of functions to make sure that they could work. Alright, so that's Luke Skywalker. Then I want you to be able to give me only the first letter of the first name and the entire last name in this format. So you've seen that. That's pretty common. You know, you give me the first letter followed by a period, followed by a space, then the last name. Okay? Or you could give me this one, is pretty common also, where you give me the first name, but for privacy reasons, you only give me the first letter of the last name followed by an S, followed by a period. Okay? Then I want you to give me the length of the name that I gave you. So if I gave you, say, I want you to print this. And I want you to print it exactly like this, the name followed by a space and then followed by the number of characters. Let's say 18 or 28 characters. Whatever the number of characters is within the first name and the last name. I want you to be able to echo it out just like that. So if my name was Luke Sky, it would be 4 plus the space, that's 5, 6, 7, 8, and the 3 letters of Sky. So it would be Luke Sky 8. Okay? I want you to be able to do that. Then I want you to try something. I want you to be able to do this one for me, which is like this. This is pretty tough. I can feel everybody dropping the class right now. Like, what the hell is that? I would like you to be able to print that. Given the first and last name. So you have your let's make also I want you to do another one for me, because have you ever tried doing a password? I want you to be able to do this. Like for passwords, when I used to go to college, they'll say your password must be like the first 2 letters of your first name plus the last 4 letters in your last name. So let's do that. So this is the password example where you're echoing out the first first two letters of first name and last four of last name. Last four of last name. You should be able to do that. So in the case of Luke Skywalker, as an example, it would be Lulker, like that. First two of the first name and the last four of the last name. Okay, and that should work for any last name and any first name that I give you. And then you could do the other one. So I know this was a long video, but it is coming up to your first exam in the course, and these are functions that are already written for you. You're simply just using the functions inside PHP, and this is not something you're going to find on YouTube or anything like that. This is something that you're going to have to use your own creativity to do. So for example, I'll give you a hint on this one. You're going to take the last name. Let's say you're probably going to want to find out how many letters are in the last name, and then you're going to have to subtract backwards to find out where you're going to start within that name to get the starting point and then the length. So you're going to have to do some kind of creative thinking for that to get that to work. And then you have to also set up your display to make sure you display the letters that you want. And then with the Luke Skywalker thing here, this is going to be very challenging, but you'd have to do some string replacing with some counting, and it's going to be up to you. Alrighty, so I will see you guys in about a week, and I hope to have some answers. If you have any questions, you know where to reach me. Thank you guys for listening. Any questions?
Not yet.
Any questions?
No questions.
No questions from the peanut gallery. Okay, here we go. See you guys next week.